Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today, we got a marathon by Lee, and this is going to be a pretty heavy marathon. I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I know it's going to be quite heavy, and I'm all for that. I grew up on heavy metal, on thrash, on symphonic metal and all that good stuff. Yngwie Malmsteen, King Diamond, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Megadeth, Manowar, all those bands. Now this he did tell me a little bit about it because I spoke to him before he sent me this list. And this is, I guess, on the slower side. It's not so much thrash, but hey, that's all good as long as it's heavy and brutal. And that's what we want, If you clicked on this video, you must have recognized either a band, maybe not, maybe you're just watching it because you like the channel. So just fair warning, this is going to be, heavier than the usual stuff. I don't know any of these bands by name, but I do know that Godflesh is one of his favorites, one of Lee's favorite bands. So I did not know this. So that's just so interesting to do this video, to do this marathon, and really, focus on the music. And yes, for some of you folks, it's gonna be maybe too heavy, or you're not into metal, but I think heavy metal is just something that you get into because it's so funny, because I got into heavy metal after I had already listened to Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and I was a huge fan of those bands. And then I got into Guns N' Roses and Nirvana and stuff like that. And metal for me was like, no, we shall not go there. I don't know. It was just something that I didn't think I was gonna like. And then when I first heard Metallica, when I first heard them, I didn't really like them because I heard the wrong stuff. But when I first heard like the real thrash Metallica, I was like instantly in love with the style, the aggressiveness, it just helped me through the day. I was going through a lot at the time when I discovered bands like this, and it was just so much fun, and it gave you energy and the sense of power, So I think that's also what the music has really helped people to deal with certain issues in life. It really gives you something, like powerful. When you hear, like when you listen to something like Rainbow, what I consider, in the metal genre, I know it's hard rock and stuff, but when I listen to Deep Purple, which is, by the way, considered heavy metal, but when I listen to Deep Purple, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and Led Zeppelin, it really gives you like that sense of like, something, power, and that's just, I guess, it's so funny because a lot of people listen to hard rock and heavy rock, but they don't make that transition into heavy metal because they think it's all gonna be like that. It's not. There's all these zop genres of heavy metal. There's thrash, there's power metal, there is like symphonic metal. I mean, there's literally hundreds of zop genres of this music. So you can't just judge one word by one song. So it's kind of like a hard thing to get into. But yeah, it's like with every sort of music, you kind of like get into it, and then maybe you don't like it, and then you get into a fall. So that even happened to me with my favorite music. The first time I heard jazz fusion, I didn't like it at all. I was like, what are they even doing? I have no understanding. They're all over the place. And now it's like my favorite genre, but So, longest intro in the world, but hey, this is also for Lee. I really appreciate you, Lee, as a friend, as a fan of the channel. We've really seen one of the most amazing concerts together. This is such a cool thing because I do know Lee in real life. So it's a little bit different here. So we saw King Diamond together. We saw Dream Theater together. We saw John Anderson together. We saw My God, I think Kansas was the only one we didn't see together. But I mean, we've gone so many amazing things. Steely Dan, even though it was a tribute band. But I mean, it's just like we share really a lot of music. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to start it off here with the band called Chevelle. This is called the Clincher. And this is from, let's see, from 2004. The album is called This Type of Thinking Could Do Us In. So we're going to start off with that one. And then I'm going to talk about the music, what I feel. I have no idea where these people are from. I'm going to look them up. So if you see, white light, that's me looking on Wikipedia. And then we're going to move it on to the other bands. But we're going to do 5 bands as always. So here we go again. Thank you so much, Lee, for your support, for your love towards the channel, for showing it to your mom and everyone, who surrounds you. And thank you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you guys watching. I know the few metalheads on the channel that will watch this, you know who you are. And here we go. Let's check out The Clincher by the band Chevelle. Here we go. And I hope I'm pronouncing everything correctly. All right, here we go.
I'll stay for nothing less, or never stand again. These are the limits when one's buried. This body's left the soul.
Reminds me of Tool. The voice.
Drifting off, now losing taste and touch, turning a pebble, waiting in the same. This body's left the soul. The brain needs oxygen, can't sneak around this bait. His catacomb has got me by the chin. This body's left the soul. Could we have known? Never would I help to nail down with nothing to gain. Here's the clincher. This should be. Now saturate, now saturate.
man. Really cool. So they're gonna be live in Indio and then Columbus. Indio, holy moly. Maybe you don't want to go there. That's where we saw Iron Maiden and Metallica and Judas Priest and AC/DC and Tool and Guns N' Roses. But it's so damn hot in Indio. Like, wow. That they literally sell you like mansions over there for like what you would pay for like an apartment here, because it's so hot. Nobody really wants to live there, I guess. This was really, really good. I loved it. It was, I guess, more in the vein of, this is the metal that I haven't discovered, but it sounds incredibly like low tuned, like, I don't know, 7-string, definitely lower than just the drop D, because when it sounded like the, and that sound, I only get that when I'm literally on my whammy bar all the way down and I'm doing like this. You can do like with the guitar, this like, this almost like bike, this like, you know, motorbike effect, like the engine like, and so it goes very low. And when my string is literally just like dangling on the guitar, that's how that sounded, so low. So I don't know what the tuning is, but very, very cool. So this is more in the type of new metal. It says here hard rock, alternative metal. It sounded very alternative, but also alternative rock, post grunge. So it has that, you know, aggressiveness. And I love the voice. It reminded me a little bit of the vocalist of Tool, but really cool, the riffs. And it's just like this slow, like, and no solos, you know, that's typical of the new metal genre. They just can't cut those out, which is totally fine with me. Maybe 5 years ago I would have been like, whining about it, but I totally get it now. It's just not in the genre, you know. So this is, they've been active for a long time, and it also says here, Chevelle is a understated musical powerhouse who have continually delivered rock anthems for the past 24 years. 7 number 1 hits, 17 songs reaching the top 10 charts, over 4 million records sold in the USA. So these guys are just, they're big. And I also just saw they do have almost 4 million monthly listeners. That is way, way more than the bands that we usually cover on the channel, like Yes, like Rush and stuff. So it's kind of, you know, when you get into the millions, unfortunately, you know, as much as I love Rush, unfortunately, they're getting, you know, older, and the great thing about the channel is that we cover them and other channels cover them, because I think without the internet, that music would get, I guess, you know, because it's older, it would get less and less coverage, and then it just, you know, it gets forgotten. So, which is a shame, because I mean, bands like Rush, bands like Yes, bands like Genesis, and all the prog masters, you know, it is just really old music now, you know. It's like 50 years old, so kids just don't go back that much, unfortunately. So we have to kind of like keep it coming and show them, you know. This was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the style, the heaviness. I enjoyed the lyrics, the singing. I didn't look up the lyrics because it does detract a little bit. I wanted to enjoy just the music. So this was really good. I really liked it. They're from Illinois. Really cool. We have family from there, so that's kind of cool, you know. So yeah, I really dig him. I really like him. And then so I was looking here. What are other bands, you know, like Chevelle? Let's see. If you go on here and then featuring fans also like Stained. I've heard of Stained. 10 Years, Crossfade, Mudvayne. I don't know any of these. Yes, Marty, what's up? Godsmack. Okay. A Perfect Circle. That's the band from singer, the Tool singer. So Filter, Corn. So yeah, it gets Tool. So it gets into, you know, like the new metal, prog, metal, you know, just newer stuff, you know, from the 2010s and stuff like that. Is he still here? I think he wants to go out. I'll take him out after this. Or Alexia's here and he was just like saying, hey, she's here, you know. That's also, I think Alexia's here. All right. So let's continue, and we're gonna do the second song. This is the band called Ministry, and this is Thieves, and this is from The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste from 1989. All right, so we're going back to the 80s, early 90s. Let's check it out. That was that. I don't even know how to like sing that. But I love that. Like almost like a machine gun, you know, like. And that that is heavy, man. That is so heavy. I love it, all the different dialogue from, I think, movies. I did think I heard something from Full Metal Jacket. The guy, the commanding officer, I think he's like I don't know what they're called, but the instructor, you know, the I can hear you, you know. And stuff like that. There was a lot, of course, to take in. But musically, this band that's heavy, man. That is actually heavier than what I used to listen to, like Metallica. I think there's only one song that is that heavy, and it's not even theirs. I think it's on the Garage Inc. CD, where they do that, you know, that. And I think it's called Green Hell, which is not by them. It's more like this kind of metal, because thrash is more like fast, you know, and this is fast but heavier and just more brutal. And I mean, the lyrics, you know, they were pretty brutal, and they're not messing around. And yeah, this is angry music, but this is what it does. It helps, you know, it helps with just to get everything out. And I don't know, it's a weird way, you know, to say, yeah, this music helped, but it did, you know, this kind of stuff. So let me see, I want to see where they're from. Ministry. So this reminded me a little bit of a band that I had heard, which is Cannibal Corpse, and I got to listen to Cannibal Corpse through the funniest thing, because I love Jim Carrey and I love Ace Ventura, and there's two parts, I think, there's one part where he goes and sees a guy, and he, like a guy who's like watching fishes, and he is like, I don't know, some kind of like scientist, but to get into the scientist lab, he has to go through like this metal bar, and they're playing Cannibal Corpse, and I was like, wow, what kind of metal is that? And that it sounded like a little bit like this. So they're from Chicago. They're considered metal. That's it, metal. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, Ministry Band. Okay, so it says, so these are, like, you can see these different genres of metal: industrial metal, industrial rock, thrash metal, synth pop, even, you see. So yeah, this was very, very good. This is the kind of like concert I wouldn't mind going to, just to like see what's gonna happen, you know. Really, really cool. I loved it. Very, very aggressive, but hey, you know, sometimes that's what we need, you know. So just, you know, outspoken and angry kids, you know, and they sing they're okay, so they moved to Denver, from Denver to Chicago. That's cool. So maybe they're originally from here. But yeah, sometimes, you know, that's what kids need to get their frustrations out. Lyrics like this, you know, and as a band, you know, like, why create music like this? Why create angry music? Because it's an outlet, you know, for against frustrations and stuff like that. That's why we got grunge, and that's why we get what we get, you know, in music. And I think metal has always been a genre that angry kids, you know, play, because it's an outlet, you know, and sometimes it helps for other people that are angry to get that frustration out just by listening to music. It's a weird thing, but it helps, really. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a little break. I just want to check on Marty, but these next three songs are the ones that I'm super interested in, because it's Godflesh And like Lee said, this is one of the bands that he would, you know, that's if it's the last one he would listen to, that would be it. So I really want to pay a lot of attention. So I'm gonna check out On the Dog, and we'll continue with this metal marathon. All right, and we're gonna continue. Oh, my coffee is burning. I have like this heating cup, so the coffee stays warm, but if I leave it on too long, it basically like starts creating like this milk, this little film of burned milk. It's hilarious, but it actually tastes kind of good. Alexia thinks it's disgusting, but yeah. So, again, back to Ministry. I really love the tune. It reminded me a little bit of just the chorus, you know, like of the Beastie Boys. I don't know, but I really dug the whole you know. I can't really explain it. I know how you play this kind of stuff. It sounds harder than it is, you know, but good stuff. Now, we're going to focus here. Now, this is where Lee actually left me a message, because it's like, okay, just pronounce this as you want, because he's a little bit weird. So this is from the album Selfless. This is from 1994, and this is called Xnoybis. Like xenomorph, almost like, you know, that's what I told him. Or like the alien, you know, the xenomorph, the alien. But yeah, this is the Xnoybis, and this is from the band Godflesh. And let's check it out. I've never heard them before. I'm really, really curious. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh, wait. Oh, Lord, it's playing. It was playing on my phone now. I'm sorry. Let's go back. We need it to play here on this computer. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Again. It's playing on my phone. All right. Very, very good. I love the that dun dun and then these two harmonics. Bum bum. Da 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 dun dum bum 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 bum. You know, so you could every time you could play them at the same, you don't have the pinch harmonic. You just play the harmonic with distortion and it's gonna sound the same every time you play. Very cool. Very it was, you know, it had the same kind of like riff. Um and I know a lot of people are gonna compare this like maybe early Black Sabbath. And maybe yes, maybe it does a little bit, but this is very interesting. So they are from England. And it says so Godflesh are regarded as pioneers of industrial metal and post metal and have influenced heavy musicians of all stripes, though they consider their work a continuation of post punk. So rather than metal. So that's kind of interesting to know because that's what happens with a lot of genres. Like, for example, Led Zeppelin refused to be called heavy metal because they're hard rock, you know, they're for them. And Led Zeppelin is more like a blues band with a lot of distortion. I've seen countless reviews of Led Zeppelin where they say, because Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Black Sabbath are credited as like the holy trinity of heavy metal, and Led Zeppelin doesn't play ball. They're like, no, we're not heavy metal. But that's one of those things, you know, some musicians, some people are just not into the whole word of metal, you know, not world, the word. So even them, they're like, we're not metal, we're like post-punk, you know, we're more in the punk game. So very interesting, very cool. Yes, a bit repetitious, but hey, this is just one song. And but I like the whole vibe. It's very heavy, but it's a slower heavy. It's almost like, and this is a band that Lee doesn't really like, but what I think about Megadeth is that they're not so thrash. They're more like a slower, it depends. It really depends on the song. But for example, Megadeth, I think he loves the music. He just doesn't like the vocals, the sound of the vocals. But I think there's another band that I love is Pantera. They're from the United States, and they also play this slower, this groove metal. And this is what this sounds like, a little more like a groove, like dum 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 dum. Like it's more like a, almost like a march kind of thing, you know. It's not like no. It's like more. It's a groove. It's like it has like this groove to it. So okay, let's check out. We're gonna go with the next song by Godflesh. This is from the 2013 album Hymns. And this is called Anthem. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh. Okay, before we start, I'm going to rewind this completely. I wanted to mention, and this is something that I dislike when we don't pause. We used to pause very, very much when we did reactions, but it was just so much like, oh, don't pause and don't do this and don't do that and just speak after. And honestly, when you hear an 8-minute song or 10-minute song, most of the thing that you thought about, your reaction, you already forgot, you know, because you can't just hang on to so many different changes and signatures and stuff like that. So what I wanted to say about the first song, I loved the distorted bass, you know, that was really, really cool. Because that's the first thing that I did when I got a bass. I hooked it up to some distortion and, you know, like started to play because I'm a guitar player, you know. So, okay, so here we go with Anthem. Again, the distorted bass is going to come in here. Not so much here. I like the bend here on the bass. very thick sounding. Wow. Wow, this song, the heaviness, it's like a wall of like, I don't know, 20 guitars like hitting you. Like, I don't even know what guitar pedals they were using, but it's obviously, again, very like it's lower register, you know, like tuned down, and it's just like, and the bass and the guitar doing the same thing obviously gives an effect of like this power, like this wall of sound. And yeah, like I really would I really should like experiment more with distortion and just like heavy walls of sound just to experience it, you know, because I've just noticed that my distortion is like less and less and less and less, and it's like almost clean now, my guitar. But I also don't play a lot of power chords. I just don't do that. So, but it would be kind of fun to get into that. This was heavy, but like just like Lee told me, this is a heavy. This is not like thrash heavy. This is more like, yeah, it's some this industrial metal. You know, or as they call it, like post punk. But this was, I mean, yes, if you play this to anyone, they would say it's heavy metal. It doesn't, it's just too heavy to be punk, you know, and too slow. It has like this, like the slowness that I talked about in the first song. But again, very, very cool. Just like it's almost, it's heavy, but it's very relaxing because of the singing. And it reminded me more of like an alternative kind of like bands. Actually, the distortion reminded me of that wall of like, you know, distortion. I think the only time I've really heard that in a band was Smashing Pumpkins, you know, like this really like, you know, so yeah, really, really cool. Um, and yeah, again, no solos, but hey, I'm totally fine with that. I do miss them, you know, like if I would right now, if I would make a band, it would be full of solos. Just that's just the way that I roll, you know, because I like to play and not even flashy, just melodies and stuff like that, you know. But I don't know, I just would go for solos. But hey, that's me. That's my what I would do. So let's check out the last song of this band. This is called Empyreal, or Empyreal, but it's I think it's Imperial, but it's because it's Y real, so Empyreal. This is again from the first album that we checked out, from the first song, Selfless, back to the 90s, 1994. So let's check it out. So this is the longest song. Let's see what they got for us here in the last song. Let's check it out. Some keyboards. So I know that Lee doesn't mind if I interrupt. I'm sorry if you do, but this is so good because I mean, imagine live how hard this must go, like boom, 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 because the bass drum is doing the same what the bass is doing, and the palm muted like jing jing, ding jing 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 jing. This is so cool, and something that I want to say, and that's why I stopped the video. This reminds me a lot of like Alice in Chains, a little bit. Just the vocals, the way they're like put in there is more like a almost like a psychedelic kind of like thing, and but also a little bit of Tool. Like I think Lee must be a fan of Tool because of this, because it sounds a little bit like a pre, although Tool is pretty old, you know, it's from that time as well. So it reminds me a little bit of, you know, of like Tool, Alice in Chains, and even a little bit of like Stone Temple Pilots, maybe. I don't know. But really cool. Really, really cool. Did I just stop the song? All right, so I messed up here a little bit. I went all the way back. So we were about here in minute 130. Let's continue. That's like... That sounds like Stone Temple Pilots. Lee told me about this part. Like, just fade it out. Nah, I'm gonna give them the full experience. So yeah, so let me know, anyone, if you agree with me, or Lee, of course. Do you agree with me that it sounded a little bit like Stone Temple Pilots? Actually, more Stone Temple Pilots than Alice in Chains and Tool. That bam, bam. Every time they would do that change, it reminded me a little bit of like I don't know which song, but it just sounded like Stone Temple Pilots, even though this is way, way heavier. But yeah, this is a band, I think, Godflesh, that I would compare with a little bit like Tool. It gives you like this vibe, like this groove that you kind of like lose yourself in. It's almost like a meditative kind of like thing, because it's like jin 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 jin, you know, like this. It's groovy, and it's almost like, it's not like, I don't know, like the metal that I listen to that's more like dun 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 dun, you know, where so much stuff is happening, and lead guitars and dual guitars and solos and triple solos, and this is more like a, almost like a relaxing kind of like metal, you know. So that's, again, this is a genre I had not really discovered. So again, the first song was a little bit on the alternative side, but then the second one, I love that really heaviness, like I said, Cannibal Corpse a little bit. I don't know if I'm too off, but this last one here was really like, almost like really relaxing to listen to. It was like heavy but slow, and just like jin 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 jin, you know, really, really good. Actually, really a side I hadn't listened to, so really, really cool. Thank you, Lee, for, you know, putting this on the channel, and also for making me, you know, discover something new, because that's what I love about this channel. We always learn something new. I just read a comment. I was like literally just browsing through the channel. I sometimes do that. And it said, because we just released a video by Tears for Fears, and it said like, I haven't listened to this in 25 years. That's awesome. That's then when we already like accomplished our mission, you know, or JK, because JK released this. So it's like, that's so cool, you know, of making that happen, you know, that people are just like, wow, yeah, I remember this when I was 17 years old, you know, stuff like that. So there you go. Thank you so much, you know, again, for listening to this. Leave obviously a comment below. What did you think? Did you like it? Was it too heavy? Was it too slow for you? Or maybe you're a heavy metal guy that likes, like, you know, faster stuff. But yeah, be honest. Comment below and let us know. And again, thank you so much, Lee. This was awesome. Thank you for you know, for all the music we've been able to share. I'm still looking forward to that Dream Theater full album that we're gonna do soon. And thank you again so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments, and like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the next one.